Let me ask DIG Ogunyowo here. Police has been mentioned in these cases. Are you worried that this is happening in this period? If these numbers of deaths have been recorded in relation to rights violation, and what we are working against has only recorded 11 deaths?
Yes, I would say we are worried as a force. And from what the Executive Secretary said, the IG has been cleared in the statement and his instruction. We are to ensure that every Nigerian's rights is not infringed upon. And one thing I can assure is that any violator of such rights will have to stand for himself and defend his action. That the IG will ensure that nobody goes unpunished having infringed upon anybody's rights.
What kind of punishment comes? Because if someone kills, if a police officer kills an average citizen and is jailed, what kind of action is usually taken?
The law is clear about it. It all depends on the circumstances for which somebody decides to kill another person. If it's clear culpable homicide, he stands for it. If it's in defense of his own life, then it becomes a manslaughter or something else. So it all depends on what investigation is carried out and the result of the investigation. Before
we go now, we have just a few seconds to two things I'd like you to do. The first is to clear the air or give us some assurances. The bottleneck that you see around the area in Berger coming into the city, where there's a long queue, almost 2 kilometers of queues of vehicles, and the police are not allowing people to go in. What are you doing to make sure that this is because there are people who have papers who are allowed on essential services that are supposed to be allowed, but kept in that traffic?
No, I'm sure you are going to see a change because we have clearly given instruction. There are some people who are on essential services, even those who are not essential, but they have emergency situation. Like somebody is taking a victim to hospital or a relation to hospital. No policeman has right to stop that person because our duty is to save life. If you end up preventing somebody's life from being saved, you have breached your constitutional duty. So I'm sure you are going to see changes.
All right, so we need to go now. I'm very sure that you probably have heard some complaints that police are extorting, some police officers are extorting people when they are passing, and people are just having free will to go and...
Yes, that is part of the address I gave to the DPOs in Lagos State yesterday. We don't want to add to Nigerian pains, just like the president doesn't want to. So anybody found extorting will have to face the music.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ogunyowo. Let's get 30 seconds last views from Mr. Ojukwu. Mr. Ojukwu, as we go now, what are your thoughts, final thoughts on this issue?
Well, we think that this is a time to look at again at our law enforcement strategy. You know, there should be proportionality in law enforcement. Our officers need to be accountable. It is because of the lack of accountability in the past that officers seem to be reckless, that officers seem to carry out law enforcement with impunity because they feel there will be no consequences. So the COVID-19 period should be a watershed for us to change the way we do things. And I'm happy about the DIG's comments that from now onwards, let that be the lesson for Nigeria, that from now onwards, reckless enforcement of the law will attract accountability. And in that way, Nigeria would have made progress out of this unfortunate pandemic.
The National Secretary of the National Human Rights Commission, Mr. Anthony Ojukwu, thank you so much for coming on tonight on the program. And I must sincerely thank you, Mr. Peter Ogunyowo, at least to give some Nigerians living in Ogun and Lagos State a ray of hope that they can go to bed without their one eye open. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you very much.
But that's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Wakimbaloe. Bye for now.